Hey, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Amanda.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Kathleen.
And this is the federal election edition of Beyond a Ballot, powered by DoorDash. Hello, it is Saturday, April 12th. Happy weekend. I'm Hannah Thibodeau. Next week brings the debate double bill. Wednesday, it is the French language face-off. Thursday, it is the English showdown. So today we're digging into the preparation, how do leaders get ready for this spotlight, who has the most to lose, blah, 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 lots to discuss. Kathleen Monk, I am going to start with you because on Friday, Jagmeet Singh said he wants to show Canadians that good government doesn't mean giving all the power to one party. So what does Jagmeet Singh need to do to make that stick in the debates?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because really Jagmeet Singh will be the only leader on the debate stage, with the exception of Yves-François Blanchet, who actually has debate experience, right? Mm-hmm. So all of them are newbies to this national debate stage. So we've got obviously Pierre Poilievre, who's first time debating as national leader, Mark Carney, and Jonathan Penneau, who's the co-leader of the Greens. They're all new to this format. But of course, I think we can all agree that my phone is ringing. I hope you don't hear that.
Someone's calling to get advice from Kathleen.
That's right. But we can all understand that, obviously Pierre Poilievre is a very effective communicator, and could potentially be devastating in this debate. But what I would tell you, Hannah, is that often people's viewpoint on how they're going to vote is set going into the debate. And often the clips that come out of the debate, like, really just reaffirm that position. It's rare that you get an instance like we had the 2011 debate when I was working for Jack Layton, and we really delivered a knockout punch for Mr. Ignatieff at the time. Jack delivered this line. He said, you don't get a promotion if you don't show up to work, because Mr. Ignatieff had missed many, many votes in the House. And that just lambasted him. And frankly, because we were prepared for that line, we knew that line was working with focus groups. We had a bunch of ads to roll out immediately after the debate. And that really drove home that message. And we were able to drive that home. And it really was game over for the Liberals after that. And so that was a successful debate strategy.
Rachel Siegel, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, he's really looking to shift momentum. What's his play here?
I think this is the week for Pierre. I mean, we've all been waiting for this debate to happen. And we know that he is an incredible orator. And I think we will see that in the debate. If I was advising him, which I am not, what I would be trying to do is two things. One, to really paint for Canadians this idea that he is the right person with the right plan to fix and save our economy. And two, to really try and peg Mark Carney and his association to the Trudeau government, and really say to Canadians, if you vote Liberal in this campaign, what you're getting is more of the same. And I think that when we think about messaging going in there, that's what he will be coming out with. I know in prep, we always tell them, really frame your opponent. I think we're going to see a lot of Pierre attacking Mark Carney and less so the other men on the stage. And men on the stage, I just want to dive into for 1 second, because I was thinking this morning in 2021, when we had the last debate federally, I was on maternity leave with my first daughter. And I remember thinking, oh, there's only one woman on that stage. I hope in the next debate, when she's old enough to watch it, we will have more women on that stage. And here we are, no women on the debate stage this time around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we have lots of women on this debate stage.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
We had to build it.
Exactly. I hear what you're saying, though, Rachel. Amanda Alvaro, Liberal leader, Mark Carney may be leading in the polls, but that doesn't mean he can coast. What does he have to do to hold on to this lead in the polls?
No, exactly. And I think that there's two things that are particularly challenging when you're heading into a debate format and you are both the incumbent, even if he's only a 9-day incumbent, the incumbent and the front runner. And that's the fact that all of the other opponents on that debate stage are going to be directing their comments at him. So he
Mhm.
really has to resist the urge or tendency to fight back, I think. I think usually the way that front runners are advised is that you appear calm, steadfast, statesmanlike. You're able to answer the questions without getting, upset or looking like they're really getting under your skin. You want to avoid looking arrogant or that you have it in the bag. So there's a lot at play, and really you're just trying to deliver as many messages without being kind of goaded into an argument that you don't want to take on. So there's a lot of discipline that's required, especially of front runners when they're being attacked by the other opponents on stage. Also, to Kathleen's point, this will be, I mean, he did the liberal leadership debates recently, just in February, but this will be the first time that he's debating in this kind of format. And those are relatively new spotlights, and how a candidate responds and reacts under that kind of pressure cooker situation is something that the campaigns can't really predict. You can prepare, but you cannot predict.
Mm.
You can't predict, but they prepare, as you say, Amanda. Rachel, go into a little bit about how, for listeners, how they prepare these candidates, because it's really quite fascinating.
So I love debates. I think we've talked about this on the show. My debate prep is my jam. It's the greatest joy of my life, because everything is so dependent on who your candidate is. Obviously, there's rules of the game, but you really have to work with the candidate that you have and the position that they're in going into debate night. So what they're going to be doing this weekend is really playing out as many scenarios as possible. They will have people playing the other leaders. For example, Pierre's team, I'm sure, will have somebody playing Mark Carney and somebody playing Jagmeet Singh, and lobbing as many attacks against him as possible, because you want the leader to really experience that, to feel it, to absorb it before it's live on TV, and trying to, as Kathleen talked about, have those lines prepared that are going to make the news after the debate. And it's going to be a lot of rehearsing. It literally is like a dress rehearsal. It feels like they are going on stage. So that's what this weekend is going to be about for the leaders.
Yeah, Kathleen, pull the curtain back a little bit on some of your experience when it came to Mr. Layton, too.
Yeah, so I remember in 2008, actually, I had to actually drive a lot of debate prep. And so I had to play the role of Steve Paikin, who's an Ontario
You were
broadcaster.
Steve Paikin.
That's a good one.
So
It is.
He
listens
hosts
to
a
our
show
show
called The Agenda on TVO, and he's a
Hi, Steve.
well-known he's a well-known broadcaster and really excellent moderator. Truthfully, many journalists, and my background's in journalism before I went into politics, like they don't want to moderate these debates. It's not really an easy position to be in. You get blamed if the debate goes badly. You don't get any credit if the debate goes well. So, but as Rachel said, you have to have people who are on the party's side, but play the role of your opposition. And these are roles that Rachel implied that aren't just like, you don't just come in on the weekend and I'm like, okay, Kathleen's going to play Pierre Poilievre this weekend. These are roles that you've actually held on to for months, if not years. So I know the individual in the New Democratic Party circles, played Trudeau up until January and then moved into the Carney role because he was best suited for that. We also had a good friend of mine, Ray Guardia, actually used to play Stephen Harper, because not only was he the perfect Stephen Harper in the Wayback Time Machine, he also had Stephen Harper's hair, that kind of helmet. You know how Stephen Harper has that helmet of gray hair? He was exactly like him. So, but you're not looking for physical attributes, of course. You're looking for that delivery, that personality, that behavior, how you react in those situations. And whether it's at the provincial level where I've done this or at the federal level, there's so much prep that goes into it, not just the performance But I'm talking the binder. We used to, in the way back time machine, we used to put together
Yes.
binders.
Of course.
I don't know if they still do binders. We did binders. And then I remember for Andrea Horvath, for instance, used to like having cue cards. Everyone has their own way of how they like the information delivered to them. And the story we like to tell about Jack Layton, I'll land it here, which is hilarious, was that, we had to remind him to smile, right? He was always a jovial guy to begin with, but sometimes we're like, and this is in his earlier days, I think it was 06 selection or 08, smile every once in a while, and so we said, well, we'll buzz your BlackBerry, because it was BlackBerries at the time, when we want you to smile. But then everyone was also texting him other information, right?
Hilarious.
Family members were also like saying, great job, Jack, and texting him on it. So his vibrator
Oh my God.
so he was smiling all the time. And anyhow, my good friend Carl Belanger tells this story in such a funny way, but that's essentially what happens. You have to be careful about what cues you give to the leader.
And the role that Kathleen Monk played as Steve Paikin. Steve Paikin is also moderating the English debate coming up this week too, so you can watch him there. Yeah. Amanda, tell us some of your insights.
So I also played a role. I played Andrea Horvath in 2014. Yes, in the election that was Tim Hudak and Kathleen Wynne. So I played Andrea Horvath in Kathleen Wynne's debate prep. So I had the big binders, and I was telling, before we taped today, I was telling both Kathleen and Rachel that because I was absorbing so many NDP talking points, when I would go to do TV as a political commentator afterwards, I would have the liberal points that I wanted to get out in my head that were being confused by the NDP talking points that I had put to memory in order to play this role. I think what's interesting is that in many ways, this is like media or presentation training, because it's not just about what they say, it's about how they look. It's about nervous tendencies that people, it's about strange things that they can do with their hands, what they're wearing, what that signals to people. And even to Kathleen's point, a smile can be accessible. It can be relatable. You can also nod your head when somebody is saying something negative and you don't realize that you're nodding along, looking like you're nodding in agreement. So we spend a lot of time talking to candidates about how their body positioning, their facial expressions will lend to how an audience is receiving the message. And then, of course, on the message side, I think there's a couple of things. People are still trying to get the knockout punch. Why? Because they're looking for headlines and they're looking for clips, and they want those clips circulated all over social media the day after. But they're also looking for their candidates to be able to deflect the attacks effectively. So not being goaded into an argument, being able to deflect, being able to pivot and make your point without looking like you're totally avoiding an answer. So as you can imagine, by listening to all of us, there's a ton that goes into these preps, a lot of weeks of work, a lot of studio time. And it's all going to come down to, an hour on the stage and how they're able to perform in that pressure cooker situation.
We are out of time, but I do want to go around 10 seconds each. What are you going to be watching for? And I know 10 seconds isn't a lot of time. 10 seconds each. What are you watching for in these debates? Rachel first.
For Pierre to make the case that he will fix the economy and that he is the guy to do it.
Kathleen?
The most dangerous role for sure is the front runner role. And so you're watching to see how Carney responds. Can he keep on the side of his better angels and not jump down the throat of the fellow debaters? Because he does have a tendency to be a bit sharp sometimes with journalists. So you wonder if that's going to come out. I also think that it's the lesser parties that tend to gain the most in these debates. So I'm actually watching the Green leader, the co-leader of the Greens, Jonathan Pendeno, because nobody knows who that guy is. So
totally.
He's actually very competent, great in French, pretty charming. I mean, I could go on about why I don't think they should be in the debates.
But your 10 seconds are up, Kath.
Yeah.
I'm teasing you. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, sorry, Amanda.
I'm looking for a couple of things. I think both Carney and Polyev have a tendency to let people get under their skin, and you want to avoid that on a debate stage. So, Polyev's tendency may be to resort to some of the slogans, which I think Canadians have very little appetite for, and Carney may have a tendency to bite back. I think both of those individuals have to watch that in the debate. So that's what I'm looking out for.
That was fun. Thank you for all of your insights. Our spirited debate continues on Beyond the Ballot on Monday, kicking off a brand new week. And guess what? It'll be 2 weeks until Election Day.
Woo!
Woohoo! See you Monday.
Thank you for listening. New episodes come out daily, and you can find Beyond a Ballot on Instagram and wherever you find your podcasts. A huge thank you to our title sponsor, DoorDash, and sponsors Equal Voice, Page, and Canada Powered by Women for making this election special possible. Speak to you tomorrow.